Big news, Nebraska. Love Omaha is now Love Nebraska. This is more than just a new name. It's a tribute to what Nebraska represents in the world of volleyball. It's still the same team with the same mission, led by players you know and love. Now backed by a new ownership group led by Jordan Larson. As Love Nebraska, they're entering an exciting new chapter, pushing for a championship title in 2026 and building new opportunities for the next generation of players across the state. They want you with them. Let's show the world how Nebraska plays volleyball. Join the movement at LOVBNEB.com and sign up to become a Love Nebraska insider today.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Salt Mine City is your go-to brewery in the Haymarket for craft beers and great food. Enjoy a full menu of great items daily for lunch and dinner, like their Big Fatty 7-ounce hamburger or a Reuben sandwich served on Blackstone rye bread. And don't forget their beef or chicken nachos with guacamole, sour cream, jalapenos, and more. Wash it down with one of their 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager. Salt Mine City, now open 2 p.m. Monday through Thursday and 11 a.m. Friday through Sunday at 8th and R.
Play ball!
Haymarket Park is buzzing with excitement this summer. Grab your crew and get in on the fun. Be sure to catch all the daily specials and promotions this season, like Thirsty Thursday, Fireworks Friday, Souvenir Saturday, Family Fun Day Sunday, plus special events and discounts all summer long. Don't miss out on the action as the Lincoln Salt Dogs take on their biggest rivals and knock the ball out of the park. Visit saltdogs.com and see this week's promotions and grab your tickets.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Noticing more dust at home? It may be time for duct cleaning from Bryant. Breathe easy and healthy. Call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
You're listening to Bock in the Blackshirt.
Terrell Farley. Defending Terrell Farley, who last week in his first start was a holy terror. Number 43.
And Jake Bockoven. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Powered by Bauer.
All right, happy Monday here at 93.7 The Ticket. This is Bock in the Black Shirt, and we are on from your 1 to 3 hour. I am the Black Shirt, Terrell Farley, and I am with
Bock.
Jake Bockoven on the ones and twos over there. We have a lot to talk about. We can go over the scrimmage from this weekend. We got the AP poll out. We got NFL football to talk about. We got 17 days left for Husker football. Bock?
That's right. It was 17 days to Nebraska football, like you said. And this next weekend will be the last weekend that we don't have college football, going, before the season. So it's going to be fun. Things are stepping up. I did want to ask you out of the out of the gate here, though, Terrell, how your storm experience was, because everybody's got a different storm experience. I think a lot of people had much different weekend plans than what turned out for them. Were you one of those guys hauling your limbs every which way this past weekend here?
Didn't have to haul one limb, but
good.
One, because you know what I did? We were smart enough to get our trees cut 2 months ago.
Oh, okay.
And had a guy come out and he cut down every limb on the trees outside the house because they was already in danger of falling. So we stepped the game up and did it early. Now one little branch, Bock. It was so light that I had to drag it. But Bock, I tell you this, I was in that weather at 5 o'clock in the morning. I was at Lincoln Airport sitting in the car. Wind was blowing the car side to side. A tree did fall out there by the airport, but that was about it right there, Bob.
Yeah, it's usually, I like to, and I think a lot of us like to pride ourselves and, hey, we're tough Nebraskans. We've seen some tough storms before, so not worried about going out there. But yeah, that one was rough. So usually I go out and look at the storm. I was awake for it. It woke me up. I went out and looked. And then I quickly got back in because the size of the branches that were coming down on my tree, I said, you know what? I am not a god here. I better go back inside. Oh, I spent all weekend picking up my I have 6 trees that weren't as well trimmed, and now they look better. But it was mostly my one tree out front. So I spent a lot of weekend. My wife got me this nice little handheld chainsaw that before this weekend, so it was good timing. So I got to use that. I get a good excuse for that.
Well, you know what I'm saying? If you go down 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th block, all those streets are terrible right now. Power lines down on I think that's like 11th and Washington. A lot of trees fell on cars over there in that way. I did drive around Lincoln. I was trying to go get me some coffee around 5:30 Saturday morning. I was going down 9th. Had to turn off 9th because there was a tree in the middle of the road. I turned up on the side roads, got blocked out again.
Oh, yeah.
So I maneuvered myself, weaving and swerving, and I ended up by the auto zone coming out that way after trying to just figure a way to get in, and I got it. But on the way back, the thing about Lincoln, man, is 10th Street right here, it was completely dark. Lights was out, everything. And what concerns me the most about when we have these storms are about the overlapping trees in the roads, like over the roads. Like they need to cut all those out and just make it clear, because that's a dangerous thing trying to drive down there. It looked like Nightmare on Elm Street Saturday morning, but we survived. Not everybody survived, so I hope everybody was able to get their yard cleaned up and have been safe and get insurance called and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, I did my fair share of driving around too. Half of it was taking limbs this way and that way, but is to see again, like you said, there's more and less fortunate folks. I was lucky; nothing necessarily hit the house. I had a lot of trimming to do, but that's okay. But yeah, I drove through different neighborhoods to see trees on houses and cars. And like you're saying, probably insurance claims here. Power lines were down in my neighborhood. They were down in several neighborhoods. So it's just, hopefully everybody in Lincoln made it through it okay. And then it's kind of funny because the next night they were predicting some big storms as well. I don't think it turned out to be so bad. But so my wife walked down. I was about to go to bed. Saturday night, my wife walks down and says, "Get ready for round 2." I said, "Oh boy, they do this again." I don't know if I'm so tired from the day of working with all those trees and the bugs out there biting me. I was like, oh man, I don't know if I can do it again. But luckily the second time wasn't as bad, or at least in the fact that all the loose limbs probably had come down by then.
Oh yeah, it was a lot of cleanup. I seen over there, Russ is off South 33rd. I think they was in that parking lot over there. They was putting most of the trees in one of those parts over there, like not like where they had the light show at or something right there. They was putting all the trees over there.
Oh, yeah.
There's a bunch of cars over there, but it was just one of those things when Mother Nature lets you know that she's in charge and that don't ever take her lightly.
That's right. Yeah, humbled all of us, I think, there for a while.
17 days, Bock. 17 days to Nebraska football. Best 17 to me. Once I started doing my homework on this guy, Bock, it's only one good 17. And I'm going to go to Reggie Cooper. The reason I'm not going to go with anybody else, Bock, because to hear this thing about Reggie Cooper, free safety from 87 to 90. 4-year ladder winner, Bock, played as a freshman. Second team All Big 8 as a sophomore, led DBs and tackles his final 3 years. Broke the record for DBs for tackles when he played. Led the Big 10 in interceptions, Big 8 in interceptions as a junior. Bock, second team All-American 89. Jim Thorpe finalist in 89. Inducted into the Nebraska Hall of Fame in 2013, Bock.
Yeah, that's a heck of a career. And again, sometimes it's interesting to go back on those players that were so impactful, maybe just before that big run that, you were a part of. But a lot of people and a lot of, obviously, in a place with 5 national championships, we kind of remember the champions, right? And don't forget about the guys that contributed and got to as close as they could. And obviously, it's a team sport, so the individual success too, from team to team. And it's not like it always is. The best players are on the best teams completely across the board. And Cooper's definitely a guy that factors in there. And then I want to shout out my number 17, Seontae Evans.
Oh, yeah.
I think Seontae Evans sometimes, sometimes get forgotten about a little bit because he came right behind Prince of Mukamara and Alfonso Denard kind of teaming up with Stanley Jean-Baptiste there. And it was kind of interesting. At that point, it was like, well, these guys aren't quite Alfonso and Prince, but I mean, how could you be? And those guys were fantastic as a pairing. And Stanley and Seontae were pretty darn good themselves. And I don't know if people remember. I mean, Seontae has the school record for tackles for loss by a defensive back. He was, he's kind of a playmaker all around the field. They'd bring him on blitzes and stuff. He was first team All Big 10 his senior year. And so, again, sometimes I think we don't always remember some of the accomplishments of some of those guys. But that's the first name that came to my mind. Of course, I was a little bit young to enjoy Cooper's career, but did remember Seontae's.
Mississippi Mud Dog says Todd Peterson.
There you go. That's a good name. Yeah.
I mean, you got a lot of good names, but that one right there is just Reggie just stuck out to me because I met the guy probably a couple of years ago. We never give respect due to the older guys that was here before us. Tyrone Hughes, Dana Brenston, Steve Taylor, guys like that, Johnny Mitchell, just guys who came and who did things the right way and to help Nebraska get to this point where they was dominant all the way in the 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, I mean, Cooper had an incredible career, second team All-American. So just an incredible player. And then, I'm glad we did get a Todd Peterson shout out because he was, again, on one of those best wide receiver units that Nebraska's had there, kind of with the Nate Swift and Maurice Purifies. And he was definitely sure-handed, tall wide receiver, very, very good in his time for Nebraska as they kind of transitioned from the option game into the passing game. He was one of the standout wide receivers early on. Let's go. I'm sorry. I was going to fix the camera real quick on you as you sit down. But yeah, I mean, yeah. I think those are the primary names that come to mind. If you guys think of anybody else that wore number 17, let us know. 402-464-5685. What names come to your mind when you think of number 17 for Nebraska?
All right, Bock, we got a lot to talk about today. Let's start it off with the AP poll has been released. Bock, when you talk about the AP poll, 10 teams from the SEC, 6 from the Big 10. Number 1, Texas. Number 2, Penn State. 5 points, the closest margin between 1 and 2 since 1998.
Yeah, and I think that's fair enough. That's what this season's all about. We talk about parity. We talk about maybe not having a team. I always say it. I think if Nick Saban was still at Alabama, his team would probably be ranked number 1 going into the year just because it's kind of open. And Texas has become a favorite. Now the coaches poll and AP has them at number 1. But like you said, it's not by a wide margin. And I was interested in this poll specifically because from the coaches poll, we got number 1 versus 2. Texas and Ohio State out of the gate in the coaches poll. In the AP poll went a little bit of a different direction here with Penn State as the number 2 team, not by a long margin, with Ohio State coming right there in at number 3 as well. So interesting times. But like you said, the parity and the fact that there's, usually we do this. I mean, we've kind of become so used to saying, okay, these are the 6 or 7 teams that can win the championship this year. And then usually there's a surprise team in the playoffs, but usually it comes down to those teams. This year, I think you could have a lot of, a lot of jostling for the positioning there. And then, a lot of them, with an expanding playoff, of course, many of those blue bloods or teams that we have ranked near the top might get in, but how it plays out there in a single game elimination format, we'll have to wait and see. We've seen some surprise teams make runs to the championship games over the last couple of years, and maybe you could even include, Michigan as a surprise winner because it had been so long since they'd won a championships previous. But we'll see. I think this year is going to be as unpredictable as any that we've had. So it's kind of fun with the AP poll trying to predict it out of the gate.
All right, Bock, as we know, Ohio State is 3. What is funny to me is Clemson is 4, Georgia is 5. Georgia spanked Clemson in the opener last year. Spanked them real good. I don't know if Clemson's that good, Bock. They should have been like 7 to 8 to me, but you know what? I don't have a vote in the AP poll. Georgia's 5, Notre Dame 6, Oregon is 7, Alabama 8, LSU 9, Miami is 10, Arizona State is 11. Another Big Ten team, Illinois is 12, South Carolina 13, Michigan is 14, Florida 15, SMU 16, Texas, Kansas State 17, Oklahoma 18. For a team that didn't finish well last year, they're right up there in the top.
Yeah.
Texas A&M is 19, Indiana's 20, Ole Miss 21, Iowa State is 22, Texas Tech, who bought their team, is 23. The 10th best team in the the SEC, 24, Florida, Tennessee, and Boise State figures 25, Bock.
Yeah. And if you're looking for Nebraska too, I know you didn't like how I did this last time, but in the others receiving votes
32,
category, 34, I think.
34.
Yeah.
All right.
I think there were 39 in coaches.
There's no such thing as 34 or 39, Bock, in the top 25.
Well, I'll just let you know. I mean, the way that they do it is with the numbers by their name, their total amount of points. So even though they stop it at 25, you can quite literally scale it down and look at where Nebraska would be, and they would be at 34th. But you're right. It is the top 25. So the others receiving votes are all just all kind of blended in there. But it lets you know where Nebraska is, somewhere between, like I was saying, 34th and 40th, kind of in that kind of area entering the season this year in the AP and the coaches poll.
All right, Bock, when we look at this breakdown of the top 25 and teams that play the most top 25 teams, ranked preseason opponents, LSU, Mississippi State, Oklahoma, and Florida will face 7 ranked teams if it goes this way the rest of the year. Kentucky will face 6 ranked teams: Kentucky, Wisconsin, Arkansas, South Carolina. Texas will play 5 of them with Syracuse, Texas A&M, Purdue, Vanderbilt, Georgia, Alabama, Ole Miss. Florida State will play 4 ranked opponents along with Ohio State, Oklahoma State, Iowa, Northwestern, Tennessee, TCU, Washington, Auburn, Missouri, USC, and Rutgers. Notre Dame will play 3 ranked teams this year, along with Miami, Clemson, South Florida, Baylor, Arizona, Utah, Indiana, Penn State, UCLA, Boston State, Louisville, Stanford, Kansas, Colorado, Michigan State, and Maryland. That's a tough schedule for some of them guys up there playing 7 ranked teams and not even close to playoffs.
Well, it's interesting, especially when you were naming off those teams. I was trying to think, okay, who's not in the SEC here, right? You mentioned Wisconsin, Syracuse, those teams. But that's, again, to kind of your point, is what are we looking at here? If there's 10 ranked SEC teams, and we haven't played it down, there's going to be people that are a little bit upset about the strength of schedule argument when nobody's played it down, and yet you've got 10 teams ranked. But that's where we are. SEC is a loaded conference. It's no longer regional arguments or anything like that. I mean, them in the Big Ten, as we know, have expanded over the last couple of years to quite literally create super conferences. And so that's kind of where we stand here. Tennessee, I think, made it in this ranking. Maybe didn't make it in the coaches poll, but it's going to be a heck of a ride. And then, from there, you want to know how much of that is going to factor into the rankings that matter once we get there, the college football playoff rankings. And usually by the time we get there might be, especially mid-season, maybe still some of that preseason expectations climbing in there. But, the way that the college football is set up now, especially with the 14-team playoff, I think there's more room for error for any of that. So there are people that will sit back and say they don't like the AP top 25. They don't like, in any case, preseason polls, and none of it matters until you get the college football playoff poll. And to a degree, they're correct. But this is just part of the fun, and part of the fun that we've always had in college football is ranking these teams. ESPN will rank NFL teams from top to bottom before the season, and it's kind of the same type of deal. It just doesn't have the historical significance that the AP poll and coaches poll have had in college football. So sometimes when traditions might not mean the most or make the most sense, that's fair, but I just like to continue doing them to let us know. And of course, in college football, we know way more teams. So to make that's kind of the whole idea of the top 25 is, okay, you're kind of near the top of college football. And so it lets us know going into the year, what are the expectations from each fan base, from each team. And that more than anything is probably what this, what a poll like this will let you, be able to do, is figure out what are the expectations for these teams coming in.
All right, Bock. Robbie and Iowa said Cody Green, former number 17.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Who is this? Who else? Scooter from Roca says Bob Thornton, 69-72.
Okay.
All right, and your guy,
good shout out,
Evans, and John M. Cortland, Bleep, Texas too. All right, John, we heard you right there. Gus Mohawk says, mark my words, the Cornhuskers will have a better record than the Bulldogs. Look at the schedule alone. All right, Gus, you want to put your money where your mouth at? I'm always here at the ticket from 11:30 to 3.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, if you ever want to come down here and make a friendly wager with me, I'll take you on that bet.
Yeah, I never thought I'd be sitting here in 2025 talking about Cody Green, but man, he was a heralded recruit, came in. Taylor Martinez came, of course, at the same time as an athlete, and ended up being obviously the quarterback of the future for Nebraska. But Cody had a few starts. I think ended up his career at Tulsa and showed out there as much as he could. But you talk about big time quarterback recruits. Cody Green will always come to mind.
All right, somebody else said Riker.
Riker 5.
Yeah. Bada bing.
A little bit of the opposite. Not a big-time heralded recruit, but he did make the most of his playing time when he was out there. I still remember that Purdue game in Mike Riley's first year. I'm trying to think about which year that was. But in any case, it was like 55-45 or something. Riker threw for like 450 yards, and Nebraska still lost. It was Darrell Hazel's only win at Purdue, basically, in the Big Ten. So that was embarrassing, but Nebraska was able to turn that season around shortly after that. But
all right, Steve from on YouTube says, hot take. Farley was the greatest NU defender in history. Yes, I know Sue, David, and Mike Brown all played for NU.
How about that hot take? You agree with that one?
Hey, everybody has their opinion. I talk about it all the time. Levon David played well, but I couldn't get the snaps like him, Bock. He played on a team that I would say mild,
Yeah.
And when I played on the offense that dominated teams and scored 50 points a game, and I didn't have that luxury of playing 4 quarters. Because if I would have played 4 quarters at Nebraska, I'd have had over 100 tackles a year.
Yeah, your stats could have piled up.
Yeah, I probably would have had 120 tackles, probably 15, 16 sacks, 5 interceptions, 3 ran back, couple of block punts. But I never talk about all that, Bock. All right, we thank you for listening to the first segment right here with Bock and the Blackshirt. When we come back, we're going to talk a little Nebraska football in the NFL and a lot of bit more.
Play ball! Haymarket Park is buzzing with excitement this summer. Grab your crew and get in on the fun. Be sure to catch all the daily specials and promotions this season, like Thirsty Thursday, Fireworks Friday, Souvenir Saturday, Family Fun Day Sunday, plus special events and discounts all summer long. Don't miss out on the action as the Lincoln Salt Dogs take on their biggest rivals and knock the ball out of the park. Visit saltdogs.com and see this week's promotions and grab your tickets.
Big news, Nebraska. Love Omaha is now Love Nebraska. This is more than just a new name. It's a tribute to what Nebraska represents in the world of volleyball. It's still the same team with the same mission, led by players you know and love. Now backed by a new ownership group led by Jordan Larson. As Love Nebraska, they're entering an exciting new chapter, pushing for a championship title in 2026 and building new opportunities for the next generation of players across the state. They want you with them. Let's show the world how Nebraska plays volleyball. Join the movement at lovneb.com and sign up to become a Love Nebraska insider today.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Noticing more dust at home? It may be time for duct cleaning from Bryant. Breathe easy and healthy. Call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Rick Heyman here from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. Visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at sartorheyman.com.
Sartor Heyman Jewelers.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
If the power is out, keep your fridge and freezer closed. Perishable food lasts 4 hours in the fridge, and frozen food lasts up to 2 days if it stays below 40 degrees. See more tips at les.com/safety.
A lot of businesses say they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business wants anything but your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, just as they do their customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and a diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at DoorsPlusLLC.com. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Take control of your health with the DASH scan at Advanced Medical Imaging. The DASH scan is a full-body MRI designed for advanced health screening. This dynamic approach provides exceptionally sharp images across multiple organ systems, helping to detect potential concerns early. With minimal radiation and no invasive procedures, the DASH scan offers a safe, comprehensive look at your health. Plus, results are delivered faster than ever, giving both patients and physicians confidence in screening and diagnosis. Your health is too important to wait. Schedule your DASH scan today at Advanced Medical Imaging. Visit amimaging.com or call 402-484-6677 to learn more.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
You're listening to Bock and the Blackshirt on air and online at theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back to Bock and the Blackshirt here on 93.7 The Ticket. We are powered
by
Bauer.
Infrastructure.
Bauer.
Underground.
Correct.
Excavating.
All right, Bock, I had to drop my old trusty PlayStation off this morning to my homie over there geared up, man. Kirk over there. He's going to try to fix it for me. I think it's got a lot of old dog hair in it, Bock. Got 3 dogs at the house. I cut it on, Bock, and it's straight said overheating.
Oh.
And I looked down and tried to feel it, and I took it apart a little bit, but not, just the casing on top of it. I took that off and tried to vacuum the outside of the fan, and that didn't work. So I tried to cut it on this morning, and I was starting to play, and it overheating. So it turned off on me. So I know it's a bunch of dog hairs in there. Even if the fan needs working, I hope it does, because that PlayStation was already on his last leg, Bob.
Oh, okay. So you might be planning to move on anyway.
No, I hope not to bury it today. I hope it can last a couple of more months or so. But man, I sure did miss playing PlayStation this morning.
What are you gonna do with your time without the play? How long is it on the IR?
Hopefully till 5 o'clock.
Oh, okay,
So hopefully it's not. Hopefully it's not that long. He's kind of backed up. He's been off for a couple of days, but hopefully he has it running by the time I get out the show and bust a few corners. I'll take my time and ride around Lincoln for about an hour and try to see if it's done by then.
Did you ever have the Xbox 360? One of my favorites.
I am not an Xbox guy.
Never was an Xbox
Never.
guy.
I hate Xbox. Too many buttons.
One of my favorite features on any video game ever was the Xbox 360 had the red ring of death. I don't know if you remember that, where if the ring would turn red, it was basically like that lights out. I don't know. Maybe your guy could have fixed it. I don't know. But as far as I know, and anybody can share that if that ever happened to you, were you ever able to get your Xbox 360 going after the red ring of death? Because I think that was pretty much it. I still have an Xbox 360. I never did get the red ring of death quite yet. Of course, I'd have to dust it off. I don't play it too much. But
well, here's the thing, though, Bock. I was going to do it myself after looking at YouTube and looking at a lot of videos of how people clean their PlayStation out. I was going to go home and get my little screwdriver and go inside of it and, clean it out. I had bought some canned air.
Oh, yeah.
From one of the Office Depots. But when I got home, I said, man, I forgot. Why did I go buy this $10 bottle of air and I dropped the game off? I forgot. I thought it was in the back seat, but it wasn't. It was in the shop.
I wonder who are the leaders of making canned air, because they seem to probably been able. I can't think the cost is too much to get the canned air together. That seems like a good way to make yourself some money. Sell some canned air.
Gus Buckhawk said, I remember when memory cards were a thing, I would leave my PS2 on until I beat the game. You could light a cigar on the back of that thing. It was so hot.
Oh, memory cards were awesome. Yeah, I do kind of miss those days.
Yeah, I hope he can get it fixed, Bock. I do not feel like going to get another one, but if I have to, I will.
Yeah. You have to make that sacrifice.
Yeah, I'll make that sacrifice to my bank account. So
that's right.
I have to cut my kids off for a couple of weeks and things like that. But all right, Bock, what we got? The All-American team, ESPN. Read it off.
Yeah, ESPN just announced their All-American team today. So, of course, we've seen these throughout the offseason, but as we get closer to the season, these are kind of the official picks. On offense, in fact, I'll go ahead. You have the list in front of you?
No, you got it.
I was going to say, no, I do. I was just wondering, do you, if maybe you could kind of guess who some of the primary positions are? I'm not going to go through left tackle or anything.
Well, we are already seen the running backs and quarterbacks.
So you know the quarterback?
And receivers.
Yeah. Well, let's see how good your memory is then.
Clemson quarterback.
Yeah, Cade Klubnik listed at number 1. Second team, you might not have seen, just a name underneath.
Second team is, let's say, Penn State quarterback.
They actually have Garrett Nussmeier of LSU on their second team.
Ooh, that's kind of
Yeah, interesting picks there. And of course, also notable that Arch Manning is not given the first team expectation right away. At running back, of course, you have two first teamers.
Penn State and Notre Dame.
That's correct. Jeremiah Love from Notre Dame, and of course, Penn State led by Nicholas Singleton. Katron Allen, also his running back mate there in the backfield. In fact, their backup running backs that they have, all Big Ten, and one of them is Katron Allen. So ESPN listed Nicholas Singleton and Katron Allen as first and second team, all Big Ten out of the backfield there. And then Mekhi Hughes, who maybe doesn't get talked about enough there in Oregon. He'll be a household name, I think, by the end of the year. Went off at Tulane last year, transferred now to Oregon. And so he is listed as the second team running back. So if you can't tell, with 3 out of the 4 running backs named, all in the Big Ten, it might be tough for Emmett Johnson or any of those other guys to punch their way up and to be all first 10 big team. But we'll see if they can get it done. At wide receiver, these are two guys you've been talking about
Ryan
for a while.
Williams and Jeremiah Smith.
There you go. Ryan Williams, of course, of Alabama. Jeremiah Smith, the star wide receiver at Ohio State. The backup second team that they've got going on there.
Let's see. One of the guys from Arizona State.
That's right. Jordan Tyson, who missed the playoffs.
And Indiana.
They good guess. I like Elijah Surratt, but they've got Antonio Williams of Clemson,
Okay.
big time wide receiver. So maybe that's part of the reason they think Cade Klubnik can become first team All American at quarterback. At tight end, Eli Stowers from Vanderbilt. Of course, Vanderbilt, their quarterback leading the way of trying to be an arrogant offseason, if you would ever believe that from Vanderbilt. Part of the reason he feels pretty good about this team is Eli Stowers, who had 49 catches for 638 yards and 5 touchdowns last year, particularly big in the 113-yard performance he had against Alabama. Second team, more Big Ten representation, Max Clare, transfer into Ohio State, and he is second team All Big Ten. As we look at the big guys up front, Spencer Fano of Utah, listed at offensive tackle. Miami gets the second teamer there. Offensive guard Ola Aoni from Penn State is the first teamer. Joe Bruner of Wisconsin getting the second team nod there. At center, they have Jake Slaughter. Slaughter's a pretty good name for an offensive lineman. He is at Florida, and they list Parker Braisford, the center there for Alabama on their second team. Offensive guard Armaj Reed Adams of Texas A&M with Caden Green of Missouri as the second teamer. And offensive tackle, they have Alabama's Caden Proctor, who spent a week at Iowa at one time, transferred back to Alabama. Cage Casey from Boise State, they have listed as the second teamer. The all-purpose player, Desmond Reed, gets the nod here over Isaac Brown of Louisville. Desmond Reed from Pittsburgh is 5'8", 175, but he is listed as a blur on the field. He averaged 154.9 all-purpose yards per game last year, the most among returning players. So he gets the nod there. Jumping over the defensive side of the ball, Dylan Stewart leading the way at defensive end for South Carolina. Colin Simmons at Texas gets the second team nod. Defensive tackle, they have Peter Woods of Clemson as well as LT Overton of Alabama, with Ruben Bain of Miami and Christian Miller of Georgia as your backup space eaters there at defensive tackle. The other tight end spot they have, DN spot, they have TJ Parker of Clemson with Keldrick Falk of Alabama getting the second team nod. Linebacker goes with Anthony Hill of Texas, Deontay Lawson of Alabama, one of the second teamers. Kyle Lewis of Pittsburgh gets the first team nod here, with Terrain York of Texas A&M also getting a second team look. And then Gabe Jacas of Illinois gets a first team nod from ESPN. He has 16 career sacks, 8 of those last season. One of the better players on the field there for the Illini. CJ Allen of your Barking Bulldogs with the second team there from Georgia. Cornerback Leonard Moore of Notre Dame, as well as Jermon McCoy of Tennessee. Chandler Rivers of Duke and Avion Terrell of Clemson with the second team nod. Caleb Downs, maybe the best defensive player in the nation, listed as one of the safeties. Michael Taffe of Texas, listed in the other ones. The backups, KJ Bolden of Georgia. Georgia's got a lot of second teamers here. And Coy Parrish of Minnesota, who we talked about, was an outstanding freshman last season. Place kicker. And this will be interesting, especially for a team coming into Lincoln. Dominic Zvada of Michigan coming back. He was 7 of 7 on field goals over 50 yards last year, 21 of 22 overall. So keep an eye out for him when he comes to Lincoln. Will Farron of BYU is the backup, and Georgia's got the punt game down with Brett Thorson as the first teamer. Ryan Eckley of Michigan State gets the second team nod. As far as explosiveness in the return game, Barian Brown of LSU leads the way there. Cam Shanks of Arkansas gets the second team nod. So any thoughts from that list there, Terrell?
Not one at all, Bock. You have to be one in a million type of player to make those lists. Gus Mohawk did say if you were to pick an offensive player and defensive player from Nebraska that might be on the list by the end of the season, who would it be? He says Ja'Cory Barney and Vincent Shavers Jr. If I had to go, probably Rocco Spindler.
Okay.
That's probably about it right now, Bob. Because, you know, Nebraska's going to rotate a lot. So, you know, it'll be hard for Vincent Shavers to hit that list if they're steadily rotating more like they rotated last year. I mean, that's especially for that part. Offensive linemen don't rotate as much as defensive guys do. You try to stick with the offensive linemen more, and that gives them time to, you know, to grade out well and do the things that they have to do, make their reads a lot better. When you rotate defensive guys in, you rotate them to keep them fresh from a long drive from the offensive line. If Vincent Shavers, if he could, I wish he could. But you know, just going by the way they substitute a lot. Ja'Cory Barney sounds good. He has a lot of guys that deserve balls also, so it's going to be a tough one right there. But hey, they're two good candidates though.
Yeah, I actually think it's a really good question because Nebraska doesn't have obvious choices, you know, on either side of the ball, and it would be obvious if you had guys that were, you know, here's the first team All Big Ten prediction or returner from last season. But I say it often, and I'll say it again here: is Nebraska, if they're going to have a special season, they're going to need to have some special seasons individually from guys to step it up, because you're not going to get to your 9 or 10 win mark likely without any all conference type of players. And of course, from there, if you're an all conference in the Big Ten, you got a pretty good chance at trying to battle there for an All-American spot. So I actually like those picks. I think those are probably, you know, some of the picks that I would go with. A lot of that has to do with the upside that we still see in those guys, the youth, that we saw some explosiveness from each of them, and that maybe they could really turn it on here. Obviously, Dylan Raiola would be ideal for this, right? If your quarterback could make that jump and to be on the first team All-American, that'd be incredible. It's hard to necessarily see that from last year, but again, you never know. Reminder, Joe Burrow's junior year was not quite what his senior year was. Looked like a solid SEC starting quarterback, and then the next year registered one of the greatest seasons of all time. So it can happen. We'll wait and see. I will say this, with how impressed Matt Rule is of Archie Wilson, I would be intrigued to see, you know, he's obviously going to have to punt the heck out of that ball, but the versatility that he brings, as well as perhaps some playmaking that sounds like they might use on special teams from there and here and there, might be another long shot option for you, just because I think he is going to bring something new to the table. To be able to kick with both feet is going to be impressive enough to some people.
At the same time,
if
Bob?
he can, at the same time, yeah. No, he can't do that at the same time. That would be even more impressive. But
well, it's only going to make teams study you more. I mean, what you do is you save the kid for later on in the year. You know, don't do it against Cincinnati, especially don't do it against Akron, Holy, Texas, whoever that team is. But
Houston Baptist,
Houston Baptist.
Christian, Houston
But if you need it, you do it against a team like Michigan. You save it for Michigan, then you surprise them with it, and you might need that key for first down. Going forward on fourth on a kick fake. So, you know, you save it for when you really need it. Don't display it just to display it. But, you know, that's a secret weapon you want to just kept behind closed doors.
I completely agree with you. That's why I'm a little bit surprised how often Matt Rule likes to kind of bring him up, is because I would kind of keep some of that stuff under the table just to kind of say, okay, let it surprise people, like you said, and it might be less of a surprise if they read some of the press clippings about how impressed Matt Rule is with Archie Wilson. But it's exciting. I'm a big, I've never really had much of a foot, but I'm a big kicker and punter fan because I think they're undervalued in college football or in pro football, whatever game of football, level of football you're playing in. And sometimes maybe just the way that the game is set up, they're not as tough. They don't go out there and play every play, all that sort of stuff. I get it, but man, do they have an impact on the game? Yeah, I mean, you can tell pretty quickly when you have a good punter and a good kicker, and just as equally if you have a bad kicking game or punting game, as we saw at times last year for Nebraska.
All right, Bock. Ryan Day says that the current quarterback race, he compares to Joe Barrow and Dwayne Haskins.
There you go.
Rest in peace to Dwayne. So that's a tight race, Bock. I don't know why all these teams rank Julian Salan so high, and he haven't even won the job yet.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of the guy with a higher recognition, maybe from going to Alabama from his recruiting days. But yeah, it should be a battle. We'll try to see. That's high expectation to live up to those two though.
All right, Bock in the black shirt here on 93.7 The Ticket. We'll come back with a quick segment, and then at the top of the hour, we will do Huskers in the NFL. 93.7 The Ticket. We'll be back.
Rick Heyman here from Starter Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. Visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at StarterHeyman.com.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Watch out for a little patchy fog this morning. Otherwise, it's going to be a mostly cloudy day. High temperature of only 80 degrees. Slight chance we could see a shower or thunderstorm later on today, but not expecting any sort of severe weather. We'll drop down to 64 for a low tonight. A lot more sunshine tomorrow and a high right around 85 degrees. I'm meteorologist Aaron Dowden for 93.7 The Ticket and TicketFM.com.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
A lot of businesses say they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business wants anything but your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, just as they do their customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and a diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740.
If the power is out, keep your fridge and freezer closed. Perishable food lasts 4 hours in the fridge, and frozen food lasts up to 2 days if it stays below 40 degrees. See more tips at les.com/safety.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Looking for a fun way to give back? Join us for the 2025 Kicks for Kids Nebraska Fun Run Walk, presented by Pinnacle Bank, on Saturday, August 23rd at James Arthur Vineyard. Enjoy a scenic 5K through beautiful grounds. Every step helps provide shoes to kids in Lincoln and Lancaster County schools, with options for adults, wine included, and kids. Registration fees include a t-shirt, medal, and bag. Sign up today and make a difference at kicksforkidsnebraska.org.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
Play ball! Haymarket Park is buzzing with excitement this summer. Grab your crew and get in on the fun. Be sure to catch all the daily specials and promotions this season, like Thirsty Thursday, Fireworks Friday, Souvenir Saturday, Family Fun Day Sunday, plus special events and discounts all summer long. Don't miss out on the action as the Lincoln Salt Dogs take on their biggest rivals and knock the ball out of the park. Visit saltdogs.com and see this week's promotions and grab your tickets.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at doorsplusllc.com. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
At Schwezo Construction, safety isn't just a policy, it's a promise. Build with us. Work safe, go home proud. We're hiring skilled craftsmen, laborers, concrete workers, and steel erectors who value quality work and a team that has your back, on and off the job site. If you're ready to be part of a company where your safety and success come first, visit schwezo.com. That's SCHWISOW.com and apply today. Schwezo Construction, 40 years strong and still building the future.
You're listening to Bock and the Blackshirt on air and online at theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to Bock and the Blackshirt here on 93.7 The Ticket. Bock, ESPN is trying to gobble up everything.
That's right.
Everything. ESPN and Fox are launching a bundled streaming service for $39.99 per month starting October 2nd, offering access to both ESPN new direct-to-consumer platform and Fox upcoming streaming service, Fox One. Both individual streaming services will launch on August 21st. Fox will include Fox News, Fox Business, Fox Weather, Fox Sports, and more. ESPN service will offer its full suite of networks, including ESPN2, SEC Network, and ESPN on ABC, along with fantasy sports and betting. Man, they're trying to gobble up everything.
Yeah, it's interesting, and then of course, that might be something I would be interested in, though. I mean, if we can get all the games from ESPN and Fox, but it's just, again, it's starting to spread it thin. Whether it be the NFL, WWE, we're seeing all these different companies where if you want to get all of see everything that the league has to offer, you got to get all these different streaming services. So this is, again, combining a few of those in ESPN and Fox, so that can kind of help to bundle the streaming services, but. Man, I suppose I don't know how many people still have cable. That's kind of what I still do, just to make sure I've got everything that I want. And of course, not everything is in every cable package. So, you have to sometimes get the sports cable package, and even one company might offer, the SEC network, but the other company doesn't have rights to whatever it might be. It is a task now to try to find our games. And so hopefully something like this can kind of help, but yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's an interesting world we live in where, you of course, you turn on the Roku before you even get to that. So, I mean, it's all sorts of different ways to take in this football. But hopefully, again, you've paid your services, or when the game comes about on, you better check maybe 20 minutes before the game, or if you're inviting people over, make sure you have it.
Yeah. All right, Bock, last one. Paramount wins UFC fight deal for $7.7 billion. Boy, now that's a deal right there.
Who's that for? UFC or
UFC?
Paramount?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting too, because of course UFC's company, or parent company TKO, also owns WWE, and they made that a massive announcement last week with ESPN. And so I kind of figured, okay, this is all going to be under the same umbrella, right? UFC is probably going to be announcing their deal here quickly with ESPN, but instead Paramount comes to the table and like you said, 7 years, $7.7 billion. Again, I don't have Paramount as of yet, but maybe this can get more people to come in. So that was kind of a surprising name to me to come out the winner for UFC. But there's if you're a UFC fan, or those people are very, very loyal. They can't miss fight night, and so there's going to be a lot more subscribers to Paramount. I'm assuming coming up here.
Yeah. Gus Mohawk says, how do you go about blocking a punt from a guy that can kick with both feet and is big and mobile? Things that you were he's saying since I was elite blocker. Oh, that's a hard one. I never faced a punter like that one. Probably just, you have to figure out the weakest side of the punting unit, which side is not that good at blocking. You probably can go up the middle. It's hard, especially, it depends on what the timing and everything right there. That's a good question right there.
Well, and when you were blocking punts too, they didn't really so much have the rugby style. It was kind of the punter was sitting back and punting, right?
Yeah, just sit back and punt. Never had a rugby style punter I went against. Never.
Yeah, so it would be interesting to kind of adjust that. But with your tackling speed, you might just go up there and grab his legs.
Well, I did that against K-State, so
yeah, so it could happen either way.
Robbie in Iowa says, I still have direct TVs yet, so I can get my Cubs games on marquee networks and the other Chicago channels for Bulls games.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Who watches the Bulls?
Well, if he's a Bulls fan, more power to him.
Will the Bulls ever be good again, Bob?
Yeah, never say never.
Derrick Rose.
Yeah, Derrick Rose. The era was kind of short-lived. The whole, DeMar DeRozan recent, kind of thing they put together didn't really work out, but yeah, I can imagine at some point they'll be interesting again.
9531 says $40 is too high. Then he says there are Hulu Live and YouTube Live that gets way more for not much more cost.
Yeah, I should say, now that I think about it, I still have my internet through traditional means. My cable is through YouTube TV, and I've been pretty happy with that.
Yeah, that's what I'm with. I'm with YouTube. They give you Big Ten Network, so you don't have to. I'm not worried about the SEC and the ACC and the Big 12. As long as I have the Big Ten Network and I can watch football, there's no need to go buy these other streaming services. I can go to a bar and watch them, or I can go over a friend's house, someone like Steve Taylor, and watch good football on his TV.
Yeah, there you go.
You're not really worried about all these streaming services because at the end of the day, you'll find a way to watch the Huskers game.
That's right.
93.7 The Ticket, Bock and the Black Shirt. Be right back.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top-quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations.
Mike, I've been thinking our house could really use a makeover. How about new siding?
I've been thinking the same thing. Have you heard of James Hardy?
Yes! Sarah down the street had Roofing Service Company install James Hardy siding on their home, and they love it.
Roofing Service Company does have great reviews.
They took her through the design process and made everything super easy.
Roofing Service Company offers expert design and installation. Couple that with James Hardy's durable products and variety of colors, you and your family will love your exterior remodel. Just visit roofingservicecompany.com. That's roofingservicecompany.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Looking to upgrade your hay equipment this season? Landmark Implement has a lineup of pre-owned balers and windrowers ready to go to work. In the race against time, make sure your hay equipment is up to the task. When you buy used hay equipment from Landmark, you're backed by our extensive parts and service network, complete with mobile techs and parts drop-off points to keep you in the field. Shop all used hay equipment online at landmarkimp.com or stop by your local Landmark to experience the Landmark difference.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at doorsplusllc.com. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
At Schwezo Construction, safety isn't just a policy, it's a promise. Build with us. Work safe, go home proud. We're hiring skilled craftsmen, laborers, concrete workers, and steel erectors who value quality work and a team that has your back, on and off the job site. If you're ready to be part of a company where your safety and success come first, visit Schwezo.com. That's SCHWISOW.com and apply today. Schwezo Construction, 40 years strong and still building the future.
What's better than supporting your favorite radio station and eating delicious Nebraska-made products? Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska wants to highlight you, the listener, on the 93.7 The Ticket Wall of Fame at the store. Stop by the store at 48th and R in Lincoln and see their huge variety of small batch gourmet jerky. Or if you're not in the area and want to try some, go to smokinggunjerky.com and enter code EARLY for 10% off your purchase. It's the ultimate low-calorie, high-protein snack at Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska.
Attention all Wings fans, Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O or in Williamsburg Village.
A lot of businesses say they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business wants anything but your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, just as they do their customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and a diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza. The big one. All the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend.
Looking for a fun way to give back? Join us for the 2025 Kicks for Kids Nebraska Fun Run Walk, presented by Pinnacle Bank, on Saturday, August 23rd at James Arthur Vineyard. Enjoy a scenic 5K through beautiful grounds. Every step helps provide shoes to kids in Lincoln and Lancaster County schools, with options for adults, wine included, and kids. Registration fees include a t-shirt, medal, and bag. Sign up today and make a difference at kicksforkidsnebraska.org.
You're listening to Bock in the Blackshirt.
Terrell Farley. Defending Terrell Farley, who last week in his first start was a holy terror, number 43.
and Jake Bockoven. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Powered by Bauer.
Welcome back to 93.7 The Ticket. This is Bock in the Blackshirt here from your 1 to 3 hour on 93.7 The Ticket. All right, Bock, we got some Matt Rule we're going to play from this weekend's scrimmage. We want to hear about it. And all right, Bock, go ahead.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting news brief this week, kind of catching us up on some of the depth chart. But of course, there was also, unfortunately, some injury updates to start out with. So here's Matt Rule on Saturday.
Scrimmage today. I'll answer all those questions about it. Great first scrimmage. Just a couple injury updates. Unfortunately, Bly Hill and Gage Stinger will be out for the year. So both got injured. Bly had that patella once before, and unfortunately, just re-injured the patella in a non-contact play a couple days ago. So he was doing really well. He was playing really well, and our heart breaks for him. And Gage Stinger, just the heartbeat. The epitome of what it means to be a Husker, a leader on the team. Just a grinder and a guy that was going to play a lot of football, especially on the special teams for us. So hate that he also hurt his knee as well. So very, very, very unfortunate. But, we believe in both those guys as people. We know who they are. We know that they'll both be back. We're here to support them in every way. But aside from that, obviously Mac and those two guys, the rest of the team pretty healthy with a couple guys, some soft tissue strains, but most guys trending towards being able to play in the first ball game. So
do you blame this on the changing of the field condition outside what was it before that?
No, I know they've kind of changed some things up, but specifically with Bly Hill here in Mac Markway, I mean, those are two of your injuries that you've had, Gage Stinger being the other, but those are re-aggravating injuries. So I wouldn't look too deep into any changes there. It's sometimes it's just hard to get over some of those health problems, and as much as you would like to be able to say you can kind of completely fix it underneath the knife or whatever you have to go through there. Sometimes it's more than what you expect, or at least the battle back is, and so that's frustrating. Again, we kind of went through this with Markway to kind of do it with Bly Hill too. Two guys that just have fought to be on the field as Huskers, and they're just not getting any luck doing so. So again, it's in my mind the Bly Hill injury, obviously Gage Stinger injury, also a big like Coach Rule said, he was becoming kind of a standout there on special teams. So that hurts in there as well as the linebacker room. But, specifically for Bly Hill, who we thought might be in competition for that opposite starting quarterback spot, opposite Sierra Wright, it just had, even last year, now even going into this year, was kind of the same thought process if he could respond to that injury, and just has not been able to. So again, as Matt Rule said, their hearts go out to it. Same with us. It's tough, but that unfortunately it's part of the game of football. We knew everybody across the nation is dealing with camp injuries. Of course, if you watch the NFL preseason so far, there's been some really tough ones already. That have happened, and again, that's part of football. It's going to happen. So I wouldn't look at anything bigger than that at this point. But just kind of tough to lose a couple guys.
All right, next one, Bock.
All right, and the rest of this is kind of interesting. Matt Rule specifically was kind of talking about, maybe not to get too deep in the depth chart, looking where it's going back and forth. But that's kind of what we do. We like to have fun with that. Here is Matt Rule specifically on the guys up front in the tackle spots.
I don't think we're close to being settled. I don't think we're close to being settled at any point. I think really it comes down like this. This is like for the first assessment, right? This is like your midterm. Really, next week's scrimmage is kind of like almost your final, and you go from there. Pritchett's doing a really nice job. Gunner's doing a really nice job. And as at the other side, like if they're the two best tackles, we'll slide one over to right. So it's really a four-way tackle battle with some other guys fighting to get in too, obviously. But Turner's getting more and more cleared every day. He was able to do the most amount of practice. Now, he couldn't scrimmage with the most amount of reps yesterday that he could do in terms of some of the things he could get involved in. Teddy Prohaska is looking healthy and out there, and he's doing a nice job. Tyler Canuck's doing a nice job. So, I think this week is a really pivotal week. So I'll have to watch this tape to see. But I think, heading into this week, it's a really important time for all four of those tackles.
really like what Coach Rule said. If we have to, you move a left tackle to right tackle. You know, I think that's one of the smartest things he's probably ever said that I listened to. But, you know, it's a battle. I mean, battles go all through camp. Battle goes all through football season. Bock, this just isn't a camp thing. This is a 13-game thing right here that's going on. I was able to win my position 6 games into the season. So this is one reason why you always tell young men, do not give up. Because, you know, there's more playing time for you. If you don't even see it, just keep trying and keep motivating yourself every day to go out there and try to get better.
And of course, it's particularly interesting. There's some names in there that have different stories, but Elijah Pritchett certainly stands out because he has appeared to be one of the bigger targets in the transfer portal, and therefore probably landed one of the bigger deals in the transfer portal to Nebraska. Would you see it as any sort of failure if he doesn't end up starting here at Nebraska? I mean,
no, I wouldn't see it as a failure. I would see him as trying to catch up and learn difference, because Alabama and Nebraska teach two totally different offenses. You know, they're more of a college spread, and Nebraska is more of a pro style blocking. So, you know, it's just 2 styles of blocking he has to catch on to. I know the big guy can do it. Probably take him a couple of games. Even if he starts number 2, I can see him grinding his way all the way up to the top by the end of the season.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Like you said, there seems to be Elijah Pritchett, Gunnar Gatula, Tyler Kanak, and Teddy Prohaska in those battles. I was also interested, you know, he mentioned Turner Corcoran, who has again played a lot of tackle at his career. Some have felt that maybe he would be better utilized as a guard, but part of it, you know, for how his career has been, well, you might be, but you're one of our better tackles here on the team. So we'll see. Obviously, as Matt Rule was kind of saying, he's not at full strength. So as he kind of gets back into it, he could be another option for that offensive line in Nebraska moving forward. But I thought that was kind of interesting. Another interesting note was about the running back room. So we'll kind of get into that and what it kind of looks like. Here is Coach Rule on the running back room's talent level.
No, yeah, there's a misconception out there. We got great backs. Yeah, if anybody doesn't think we have 3 great backs, then can't wait for them to see these guys. I mean, Mosey's a dude. Mackay might be one of the fastest guys I've ever seen, going from, you know, first 5 steps. Now they have to go do it in games, right? Like, I'm just talking about in practice right now. I mean, but I think that's a loaded room for us. You know, Kenneth Williams is out there balling. Connor Booth, tell you what, he's just gaining his stride right now. So Emmett obviously has like some pelts on the wall and some pedigree being out there, but, you know, Mosey and Mackay are making a tremendous push. Quentin's still out, you know, so we're hoping we get Quentin back this week. But those other guys have just raced ahead, and they both can catch the ball out of the backfield, and they both can protect. You know, EJ does such a good job, but you can't play on our offense if you can't protect. And so they do a nice job of that. But, you know, we moved Genatone over to tailback, you know, so we have a 230-pound guy that runs, you know, 22.5 miles per hour. So he had some good runs today, and we're hoping I'm hoping he can get in that I formation and, you know, short yardage and go get that yard when you need it. I know Emmett can, but can we have another guy like Genatone that can? So I'm really pleased with that room. I have some concerns. That's not the concern for me.
All right, Bock. I did talk to EJ Bartha the other day, and he looks good as a coach. He was running up and down the field, Bock, before practice even started. He was getting his workout on. And I went and talked to him, Bock, and he was trying to say, hey, man, I'm trying to get these young men to understand. You know, when we say that, Bock, we say we want them to get to understand how things were when he played, you know, how he went through things. They don't have to go through 2-a-days. They don't have to go through that grueling stuff that we went through. But I can tell you this, he coaches them hard. When you talk about our running back room, it's more important for 2 guys to step up, 3 guys to step up, because we're concerned as fans and as sports guys. We concern ourselves with who's behind Emmett. Still had questions about Emmett, if he can go the whole game, if he can take the hits, if he can break the long runs, if he can get over 100 yards for 4 or 5 games this season. feel real comfortable when he said that these guys can catch out the backfield. That's one of the things that we want to see in this offense we got. We want to see, do we really have a running game like we said, Bock? Because we thought that last year with having Dardell and Emmett was a great combination. The big guy he's talking about, I love the size. I love when you say you got a 225-pound back. Puts fear in a lot of guys' eyes, especially when he can hit top speed at 22 miles per hour. Like I say, this is a camp thing, Bock. Like he said, this is what you see in practice. Going to be a lot different when we hit game film and game time. Just excited to see how these guys are going to react when we do play Cincinnati, which is going to be in 17 days. So, keep battling through camp, keep rising at your position, keep practicing hard for playing time, because this is what fall camp is for. Stay healthy, earn your playing time, and get aggressive.
Well, and it sounds like, especially with Matt Rule saying they have 3 great backs, and then was kind of very complimentary in this press conference of Isaiah Mose and Mekhi Nelson. Kind of lets you know where the separation has come, and that those guys have been able to take advantage of their opportunities and earn some touches this year. So, and at running back, obviously it's kind of funny because I don't know if the average Nebraska fan, of course, we're in it day in and day out and going through the depth chart and all that, but if the average Nebraska fan, knows a whole lot about Mekhi Nelson or Isaiah Mose, but they're gonna get that introduction here, as Matt Rule was saying, once we get into game time, and then we can all kind of make our own assessment. Again, I think at times it's great to hear a coach say, you got great players, but again, I think this staff particularly, I just can never get over the fact that everything was kind of elite for the first couple of years. So, I kind of hold guard on that. But I was also specifically interested in that in talking about Vincent Genatone and moving him to running back. Quentin Ives, of course, has been out. He's been thought of as kind of the short yardage back, perhaps, but he's only 215 pounds. Genatone coming in at 225 will be interesting. He kind of mentioned Emmett Johnson as a guy that they're going to use in the short yardage, and Genatone maybe the backup there. So that kind of gives you an idea of the play style, maybe of Nelson and Mose as well, in kind of the outside of that. So it's kind of interesting. He did also have a quote, as we're talking about, with Quentin Ives, who I think a lot of people thought would be the number 2 pack coming in, got banged up right at the start of practice, and Matt Rule's saying, yeah, I mean, that cost him, and that's what happens on a good team.
What we know, Quentin's talented. I think it's just, like I said, we have 5 days left of like pure training camp, right? We have 9 days left till game week. So it comes down to, where you are at that time. You can't control when you have an injury. You can certainly try to prehab and not get hurt and sleep and hydrate and do all things that, if you get 8 hours of sleep, if you get less than 8 hours of sleep, you're 1.7 times more likely is what Mitch tells the guys to get an injury. So I guess that's almost twice. I'm not great with math, but that's almost twice. And so, you can try your best to avoid injuries. When you have it, you have to rehab and get back as soon as possible. But, on good teams, we think, we are a good team. On good teams, there's a lot of competition. And if you are out for a while, someone else is going to step up, and that's their chance. And so if we went in the game right now, it would be those 3 guys would be playing the majority of the snaps. I don't know what tomorrow could bring. A guy could pull his hamstring tomorrow. They could walk in and say so-and-so hurt his hand. So I never get too caught up in the depth, especially early on. I'm more like, hey, everyone get better. And I don't like when the players get caught up in the depth. They're like, well, this guy's here. Just, am I a great player? If I'm not a great player, become a great player, and we'll find a way to get great players on the field. So I do think he has some catching up to do. I do think, and that's not about him. It's just about what the other guys have done. They've done a great job. But we'll need a lot of guys this year. It's going to be a physical year. We play some great teams.
Yeah, I can see what that understanding is. He has to come back and earn his playing time. He has to come back and bust some people on their ass, Bock. It's just simple way of football. When you miss that much time, there used to be an old saying, Bock, you can't make the club in the tub. So he has to get himself together. You don't know the extent of a hamstring. I popped my hamstring and I missed 16 weeks in Canada for that. I fully tore mine off the bone. So, it just depends how bad that hamstring injury is and how tough of a guy Quentin Ives is to make a comeback from it and try to reclaim what was his probably 6 months ago, 9 months ago that was his. But, I think once he get back, he'll try to get himself back into shape and try to reclaim what was his, or either try to work his way back up there.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, I don't think it was just handed kind of that spot. It was in those carries there in the Pinstripe Bowl. He had earned those, but he was not such a veteran player. As Coach Rule puts it with Emmett Johnson, with some pelts on the wall there. That he was a surefire number 2, and so I think that's the good news, right? The bad news would be, a guy that just doesn't have a whole lot of experience. We're still going to keep him as our number 2 because nobody else really stepped up. Well, to Matt Rule's point is Mosey and Mekhi Nelson have stepped up, and so therefore they've moved up, and so I think that's good news for Nebraska fans. As Coach Rule, again, I'm just kind of reiterating some of the words he said, but great teams are going to have great competition, and that is going to hurt you regardless. So you have to take if it's an injury or you have to take a couple of weeks off and go home, whatever it might be, it's going to hurt you because and you hate for it to happen through injury, but that's football. It's going to happen, for the most part. And then we're even seeing it obviously with like a Prohaska or Corcoran that we talked about on the front line. Those guys have been starters before. They got to earn that starting spot back, and it's not going to be given to them just because they had injuries. So I think that is definitely a big takeaway there. We do have a text from Old Dad 34. He says, my only concern with our team is the D-line, in his opinion. Well, Coach Rule talked about the defensive line battles that were going on Saturday.
Yeah, you have the jack position, which is like Desan. Yeah. I think you look at that jack position, Desan Willis, Jordan Ochoa, with Dylan Rogers making a real push right now. Really pleased with Dylan. You look at you talked about, Riley, you talked about Keona's having a great camp. You talked about Cam, I think he's playing really good football. Will is, Will has all the physical gifts. It's just his focus has been his motor. I'm really pleased with his motor. He's flying around, tremendous pass rusher, tremendous run defender. He's coming on. I think you have some guys making steps. You have, David Hufkun, Sua Lafotu, Mason Goldman, Ashton Murphy. A lot of those guys are just young. So they're still trying to figure out, am I good or not? You're good. Go play, right? You're good. So, and I don't want to, minimize some of the other guys that are playing. Just, I think we have a lot of guys that are battling to get in the rep rotation. We're not going to be able to do like we did last year and play Ty and Nash, 55, 60 plays. We really didn't do that the first year, though. We had really good defense. We played guys 30 to 45 plays. So I think it'll be sort of that type of a deal. And then, we're playing a bunch of different fronts and personnel groupings. So John and Terry, Phil Simpson, sometimes we have 2 jacks on the field. Sometimes we have 4 pure D linemen on the field. So we're doing a bunch. Sometimes we have 5. So we're doing a bunch of different things to get players on the field and helping guys find their role. So I think a lot of those guys are coming on.
When we talk about the defensive line, Bock, is it a good thing or bad thing to have so many young guys at one time? Not a veteran presence there, like a Ty or a Hodgman, whatever his name.
Nash.
Yeah, Nash. Does it hinder this group? 35 snaps a game.
Yeah. I think you'd rather have Ty than not, right? You'd rather have them there. But as he said, it can be done through rotation. That's what they did a few years ago. And I think that right now that's the plan, right? Is until proven otherwise, do a lot of rotation and keep guys fresh. But if Riley Van Poppel or, any of these guys start to stand out, well, then they might earn, into the 40s type of reps and maybe get, even into the 50s to be kind of where Ty and Nash were. So, it just kind of is what it is, right? You don't have that veteran presence. You don't have, those big shoulders to lean on as of yet. But here we go. That's why, college football is all about replacing what you've previously had. And it doesn't have to be the exact same body type. Doesn't have to be the same style of play.
Yes, it does, Bob.
You think so?
I think so. Have you seen the other Big Ten linemen? Have you? Have you seen that Penn State offensive line that averages what, 6'7"?
They're big.
What is it? 6'3", 317, 327.
Yeah.
D line matters. Size matters on D line. I don't think little quick linemen can do it in the Big Ten. It's just one of those things that I just feel in the Big Ten. You don't see small linemen in the Big Ten. Not from no teams. You see the guys who goes in the first round from the Big Ten. The DN from Michigan. The DN from Penn State. I think we struck out on the portal when we needed some big bodies. And I hope it doesn't come back to hunt us when we play these big teams that have big offensive linemen, because speed works most of the time, Bock, but speed doesn't work 100% of the time.
Yeah, I think that was for a lot of people too, is wondering who's going to kind of, even as good as Ty was and as big as he was, he kind of played that defensive end role more so than defensive tackle. Not that he didn't slide in, obviously versatility, moving him around and all that has kind of helped. And in the 3-3-5, sometimes that defensive end role can be somewhat of a defensive tackle. And Matt Rule's talked about, the different rotations they're going to throw out there. Sometimes have 4, even 5 down linemen. So we don't have to see everything through the base defense. But to your point, when you kind of look at it, guys that are 300 plus pounds are listed at 300 plus pounds on the roster, and include Sua Lefotu, a guy that doesn't have a whole lot of snaps. So again, maybe some of these guys can rise up and be the answer to what you're talking about. He's in there in the mix for trying to get some playing time. Riley Van Poppel is listed at 295, so he's right there. Elijah Judy, 300 pounds. Dylan Parrott, 310. Tyson Terry, 310. He's going to be sitting out this year, though. But there's just not that many options as far as big guys kind of plugging up the middle there.
All right, Bob. I'm gonna let you slide with that one, Bob. Right. You know why I'm gonna let you slide, Bob? Because people lie about size.
Yeah, okay.
You can look at some people program and see their media guy. You say, man, this guy is 6'3", 370, 350. You get in the game, Bock, this guy is 6'1.5", and he's almost 280.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Don't believe everything everybody tells you about. 93.7 The Ticket. Bock and the Black Shirt will be right back.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC. This month kicks off Koppel's 50th anniversary sale. We're celebrating 50 years by offering an additional $500 discount to the next 100 customers that buy a new vehicle. This is in addition to the huge savings already in place. You can take an extra $500 off our discounted price, or we can cut you a check on the spot. Celebrate with savings and see why customers have trusted Koppel since 1975. It's our way of saying thank you for all these years.
Attention all Wings fans. Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O, or in Williamsburg Village.
Mike, the insurance company wants us to replace the roof.
Wait, what? I thought everything was fine.
Yeah, it says right here our roof is too old and they won't be able to cover us anymore.
I guess it is 15 years old. Hi, I'm Austin with Roofing Service Company. We help homeowners with their roofing and siding projects. Financing options are available, and we can get you under a new roof no time at all. If this sounds like you, visit roofingservicecompany.com. That is roofingservicecompany.com.
What's better than supporting your favorite radio station and eating delicious Nebraska-made products? Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska wants to highlight you, the listener, on the 93.7 The Ticket Wall of Fame at the store. Stop by the store at 48th and R in Lincoln and see their huge variety of small batch gourmet jerky. Or if you're not in the area and want to try some, go to smokinggunjerky.com and enter code EARLY for 10% off your purchase. It's the ultimate low-calorie, high-protein snack at Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations. And they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2.
MHC isn't a new company, just a new name. Moe's Moving is now Moe's Home and Commercial. Whether moving across town or across the state, MHC Moving has you covered, specializing in home, apartment, assisted, and independent living moves. MHC can handle your commercial moves as well. MHC Moving has 0 hidden fees. You'll never pay for same-day booking or be charged for stairs, heavy items, or elevator fees. Rates are the same Monday through Saturday, and you will never pay a truck or fuel surcharge. And they offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com. When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
You're listening to Bock and the Blackshirt, on air and online at theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back to 93.7 The Ticket. We are powered by Bauer.
Infrastructure.
Bauer.
Underground.
Brad.
Excavating.
All right, Bock. We had some coaches over the weekend. One was an NFL coach and one was a former head coach of an SEC team. If you had to pick one of these guys, go ahead and tell the people who they are.
Yeah, well, it's kind of interesting. Again, two former prominent coaches basically saying that they're eyeing a return. Jimbo Fisher, of course, who won a championship there at Florida State and didn't have the most success there at Texas A&M, but he did get a nice payday out of it, is saying he is eyeing the right job for his return. So if you're kind of thinking about him right now, an analyst, I think, in TV, why he wouldn't maybe have gotten a job. It's not that he hasn't got an A offer. He's looking for the right offer. And John Gruden, who'd said at Georgia, a speech thing that he had to do there, I shouldn't say had to do, was invited to do, said, I'd die to coach in the SEC, and made it clear that he'd be interested in a return. So, I mean, both those guys, obviously, Gruden was fired for, some emails that got out that didn't shine him in the best light, or maybe shine him in the true light. Hopefully he's been able to overcome some of those things. And if you aren't a fan of him because of that, I can understand. And then Jimbo Fisher, there's just probably not too many fans of him in Texas A&M, but in general, we kind of understand what kind of a coach he's been. I think they would still make some pretty darn good coaches, especially at the college football level. So it does make an interesting question about if you were an AD at a program, which one would you be more interested in?
Probably John Gruden. Just his knowledge of football is one of a kind. Probably would look good in the University of Arkansas head coach.
Yeah.
Sam Pittman's been on the bubble for probably 2-3 years now.
Yeah.
Would with that being said, Jimbo Fisher probably be good at a ACC school. Who knows? Don't really know. Didn't really do stuff. Didn't do anything in the SEC for me. Did have a great team in Florida State, which was good, but he still has to prove to a lot of people that he can coach instead of taking the money. He took a lot of money. What he took, $80 million?
Yeah, somewhere around then.
Yeah.
And also keep in mind, he didn't just fall into the Texas A&M job. Things kind of went awry at Florida State as well as at Texas A&M. But at both places, I mean, he was before things went awry at both places. He had success. Now it was limited there at Texas A&M to the 2020 season when they were 9-1. But they went to the Orange Bowl, won the Orange Bowl, finished in the top 5. But he's mostly remembered for kind of sticking in that 8-9 win area. Of course, 2020, that's a different conversation because they only played 10 games, but won 9 in 2018, 8 in 2019, 9 in 2020, 2021 he won 8. So, a little bit has to do with the expectation. Then you had the 5-7 season and a 6-4 start in 2023 when they decided to let him go and move on, of course, to now Mike Elko. But he was still 45. We talk about levels of well, I'll just put it this way. For the Huskers, we've been waiting a while to have a coach that would be 45 and 25, I suppose, after his first 70 games. And that's what Coach Fisher was at Texas A&M. Again, Gruden doesn't have an extensive history in college. I think he did spend a year or two there in Tennessee and maybe Pittsburgh. But for the most part, he's been an NFL guy throughout his entire career. And he's very personable. Obviously, from his days in Monday Night Football, kind of became somewhat of a celebrity with people trying to, sound like him and Frank Caliendo and all that sort of stuff. So he's kind of got a big name. So we'd have to wait and see again. It has enough time passed, since being fired for derogatory speeches towards several, I shouldn't say speeches, but derogatory language in private emails, towards some groupings. Maybe not enough time has passed for some people. Maybe there's not enough time in the world to pass for some people to forgive him for that. But again, some of that stuff was meant to be private. It's not like he said it publicly. But again, do you kind of see the true character? Maybe you can decide there. But as for what it is, sometimes enough time can pass for it to seem like, maybe he's kind of paid his dues there. For example, the Buccaneers actually, when the results of the content of the emails came out in 2017, removed him from the Ring of Honor they have there, and they just recently announced they're going to reinstate him. So kind of interesting there, and so maybe that's part of the reason maybe he thinks he can kind of get back into it. But I'll tell you what, both those guys would be heavy on my list if I'm had an opening, because they've both proven to be wildly successful at times. And again, as in the coaching world, as in almost any job profession, you have your ups and downs, but those guys have been to the top before.
All right, Bock. Here, how I'm gonna say this. Let's be real to ourselves, Bock. Mm-hmm. When we heard Troy Dannon the other day, I heard his conference, and he talks about no stadium work.
Yeah.
How mad did that make you? It didn't make me mad, but it put a question mark in my head, because if you knew this a year ago that this wasn't going to happen, why'd we take Tennessee out the schedule? I would like to see us play more competition teams at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I mean, and there's almost kind of a question mark too with that over the weekend as well, because Nebraska added Nevada to the 2029 schedule. Of course, the Wolfpack, not a marquee opponent, but on that 2029 schedule still is Oklahoma. They're supposed to be at Oklahoma that year, and with their current kind of thought process that we've heard from Coach Rule and even Indiana canceling games against Power 4 opponents, you just don't know if they're going to get there. And man, what a headache that is. If you're the Oklahoma side of it, remember Scott Frost and crew tried to kind of get out of that game at one time, you wonder if that call, I mean, I would wonder if I'm in Oklahoma, I would wonder when that call is going to happen from the current staff here. And again, you can frame it whatever way you want to. Obviously there are reasons that Nebraska is taking the approach that they want to. Again, a lot of this has to do with the SEC only playing 8 conference games. And the Big Ten doesn't feel that that's fair. If they see their conference on the same level, they got to play an extra conference game. Then why schedule a difficult non-conference game, right? Is the whole thought process there. So it's interesting. The whole stadium thing in a whole is interesting because the university, not the athletic department, is kind of struggling to kind of rally up funds. And so it's almost like just I think the athletic department might be in a better shape to do the stadium repairs, but just kind of how would that look with the university making cuts is kind of the bigger issue there. So it is an interesting time to be, and we knew it was going to be with the of course the changes in college football, now the revenue share and all that. But I still stand by. I'm not sure. I'm fine. I mean, I think you could go 10 years without changing Memorial Stadium in my mind. I'd appreciate if they update some of the internet and Wi-Fi connections.
They're doing that now.
That they're attempting to do. Right. I mean, but that would be my biggest complaint. Outside of that, I don't have too much of a problem with Memorial Stadium as is. So
yeah.
I'm not too upset about it.
Leave Memorial Stadium alone.
Yeah.
All right, Bock. I don't know how much time we got, but NFL quarterback, NFL, Shedeur Sanders. Did he hush the critics?
He did enough, and he certainly had the support of LeBron James and Deion Sanders and many others with his debut. I'd hold back a little bit. We'll have to see what it looks like in an NFL game. But for a preseason debut, looked pretty solid.
Well, when we say that, Bock, he hasn't worked with the ones before. He gets in the game, goes 13 for 23, 12 for 23, 22 or something like that. 153 yards. Good for a debut, but, have to get better each week.
Yeah.
Has to get so much better that probably one of those quarterbacks have to get cut besides Huntley.
Yeah.
Somebody else has to go.
Yeah, and maybe a trade would be in the works there for somebody. But, yeah, we'll see. I mean, he definitely – that could have gone a lot of different ways, and I'm sure a lot of people have been cheering against him. We're just waiting at their TV, hoping to see him fail, and so he's in just an interesting position where no shortage of bravado or confidence, but certainly the whole draft day ordeal may have humbled him, and here we are now, and kind of see what the next chapter is. Again, 5th round pick with higher upside than that because. And so it kind of just leaves you wondering where does that land, especially in an organization that has somewhat of an opening there. We'll see what Flacco can do. We'll see how long they can win, and we'll see how much interest is in Shedeur. Maybe he can continue to play his way up that depth chart. We talked about it with the Huskers. We know within that quarterback room, there's not a clear, hey, this is the future type of guy. They've got a few guys that they're trying out at that spot, and Shedeur being one of them.
Yeah. Another question right here, Bob. Thoughts on Geno Smith flipping off a Seattle fan? I like how Pete Carroll had Geno's back at the post-game presser. Pete said, hey, did you see the sign? Next question. The sign said, bigger bust, Geno Smith or Jamarcus Russell. The Raiders might be a team to watch. They would definitely be better than Atlanta. Ha ha. Gus Mohawk.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you'd prefer not to get into it with the fans, especially with your franchise quarterback. He took exception to it. I don't have any problem with the middle finger, but for the most part, I try. I mean, don't be rattled by one fan, because there's whole stadiums of fans that are looking to rattle you.
Yeah. All right. When we come back, we'll do a quick recap for the Huskers NFL players that played in the preseason. When we come back on Bock and the Blackshirt here at 93.7, The Ticket.
From the capital to castles, starting this December, fly nonstop from Lincoln to Orlando with service from Breeze Airways. That's right, nonstop flights to Orlando out of LNK are starting this December. You're now just a flight away from Disney World, Universal Studios, Legoland, and the Space Coast. Stretch out and relax on Breeze with complimentary family seating. Book your magical getaway now at LincolnAirport.com. LNK, make flying easy.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce is complicated. It affects every part of your life, your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce and the unexpected directions that it can take, it's times like this that you need a partner you can count on.
If you're a man facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today to connect with a local divorce attorney who understands the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Text GO99 to 323232. GO99 to 323232. GO99 to 323232. 1221 N Street, Lincoln. Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply STOP to opt out.
MHC isn't a new company, just a new name. Mo's Moving is now Mo's Home and Commercial. Whether moving across town or across the state, MHC Moving has you covered, specializing in home, apartment, assisted, and independent living moves. MHC can handle your commercial moves as well. MHC Moving has zero hidden fees. You'll never pay for same-day booking or be charged for stairs, heavy items, or elevator fees. Rates are the same Monday through Saturday, and you will never pay a truck or fuel surcharge. And they offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports is quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Watch out for a little patchy fog this morning. Otherwise, it's going to be a mostly cloudy day. High temperature of only 80 degrees. Slight chance we could see a shower or thunderstorm later on today, but not expecting any sort of severe weather. We'll drop down to 64 for a low tonight. A lot more sunshine tomorrow and a high right around 85 degrees. I'm meteorologist Aaron Dowden for 93.7 The Ticket and ticketfm.com.
Cobalt Diesel reminds listeners as we approach the anniversary of 9/11, our thoughts turn to the firefighters, police officers, paramedics, and all emergency first responders. Tens of thousands of first responders spend days, weeks, and months searching for victims, cleaning rubble and debris, and restoring order to the chaos. We proudly thank the 9/11 first responders for risking their lives on that tragic day. Cobalt Diesel, serving our area with pride and integrity. For portable line boring or for all your heavy-duty diesel and equipment repair, service needs, and more, or visit www.cobaltdiesel.com. Cobalt Diesel, on the air because they care.
Nebraska football opens their season on Thursday, August 28th in Kansas City, and you can be a part of the best pregame tailgate party with Blur Events, live from Kauffman Stadium, home of the Royals. Doors open 4 hours before kickoff with a live DJ promoting interactive competitions and giveaways, tailgate games like cornhole, flip cup, and beer pong, access to ballpark concessions, and available air conditioning. Book your tickets today at blurevents.com/Kansas City and hang with 93.7 The Ticket on the scene prior to Nebraska versus Cincinnati on August 28th.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Batter up! Join us this summer at Haymarket Park for 50 action-packed Salt Dogs games running now through August. Visit saltdogs.com for updates on everything you need to know about weekly promotions, giveaways, and special events. That's where you'll find the latest updates to make sure you catch all the excitement and never miss a homestand you want to attend. Haymarket Park is your ticket to fun all summer long. Visit saltdogs.com to get your tickets and unleash the fun.
When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Breaking here at the news desk. When you stack Allo Internet, DirecTV, and mobile, you can lock in your price for 2 years. Sources are confirming that when you stack Allo Internet, DirecTV, and mobile, your monthly price drops and you're locked in for 2 years. That's fiber fast internet, premium streaming TV, and reliable nationwide mobile coverage. And this just in, you must switch by Labor Day to secure that locked-in pricing for 2 years. Switch, stack, and save at allofiber.com/stack.
You're listening to Bock and the Blackshirt, on air and online at theticketfm.com.
Boom! 93.7 The Ticket, Bock and the Blackshirt here on your 1 to 3 hour. We are down to the last segment today. Bock, what you got?
Yeah, well, and again, there's one more Saturday here without college football. And then week 0, I know Iowa State and Kansas State are getting a lot of the interest, but there are a few other games that day. Kansas will also host Fresno State, and Fresno State's going to start quarterback E.J. Warner. Of course, that is Kurt Warner's son, of course, brother of Cade Warner as well. So that's something to kind of look out there for week 0. Stanford at Hawaii also there on week 0. I also wanted to give a shout out to the 2007 game between Nebraska and Nevada. Like I said earlier in the last segment, Nebraska added Nevada to the 2029 football schedule. They've only played one other time, and that was in 2007. By the way, the Wolfpack will receive $1.6 million from Nebraska for playing that day. So a good payday for the Wolfpack. But in that matchup, Nebraska won 50. It was one that I always will remember for extending Bill Callahan right afterwards. But Nebraska won the matchup 52-10 in 2007. Marlon Lucky looked like he was headed for an All-American season. He rattled off 233 yards on 30 carries and 3 touchdowns. Also added a touchdown through the air. Bill Callahan agreed to a 3-year contract extension after the game. The athletic director, Steve Peterson, at the time said, I've said on numerous occasions that we want Coach Callahan to be the coach at Nebraska for a long time. This commitment to Bill and the staff is a result of our belief that all the right ingredients are in place for long-term success. He also has set a very high standard for discipline, integrity, and work ethic that makes us proud as Nebraskans. As we all know, by season's end, neither Peterson or Callahan were employed at Nebraska. Also interesting from that day, backup quarterback for the Wolfpack, Colin Kaepernick, 1 of 3 for -1 yard in that game.
Sad.
Little fun, but yeah, fun history that wasn't all that fun, I suppose, as the 2007 season somewhat played out there. But I thought that was kind of interesting. Some other stuff that I think another story, or anyways, well, let's get to the Huskers in the NFL. We kind of teased that a little bit. We talked about some preseason football, including my favorite preseason moment so far, Cam Little's 70-yard field goal. Of course, in preseason, it's not going to go down as an NFL record, but the previous record, 66 yards. We now have guys proving they can hit 70-yard field goals. So that is quite amazing. As far as former Huskers in their NFL debuts, Adrian Martinez, 15 of 23 for 152 yards and a touchdown for the Jets, as he looks to try to make that team as maybe the third quarterback. Thomas Bedoni, 3 receptions for 23 yards, also hauled in a 2-point conversion in his debut. We know about Ty Robinson's sack and 2 tackles for the Eagles. John Bullock had 2 tackles and 2 pass broken up for the Bucks. Isaac Gifford, 5 tackles for the Panthers. Omar Brown, 4 tackles for the Packers. Isaiah Neer also played in that game but did not have any stats. Garrett Nelson, 4 tackles for the Broncos, and Quentin Newsom playing alongside him, 1 tackle for the Broncos. Luke Gifford had 2 tackles for the 49ers, and Amir looks good in a 49ers uniform, 4 carries for 20 yards.
All right, Bock. More preseason football coming up. I don't know if we have one tonight, but I know Thursday night we should have some more coming on. Then next week, college football is here.
That's right.
Dun, 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 dun.
We've been waiting.
We got to get that beat back too. All right, man. We thank y'all for listening to Bock and the Blackshirt here on 93.7 The Ticket. Catch us tomorrow, same place, same time, same 2 people. 93.7 The Ticket. We out.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Against Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Against Sports at 48th and Vine. Nebraska football opens their season on Thursday, August 28th in Kansas City, and you can be a part of the best pregame tailgate party with Blur Events, live from Kauffman Stadium, home of the Royals. Doors open 4 hours before kickoff with a live DJ promoting interactive competitions and giveaways. Tailgate games like cornhole, flip cup, and beer pong, access to ballpark concessions, and available air conditioning. Book your tickets today at blurevents.com/Kansas City and hang with 93.7 The Ticket on the scene prior to Nebraska versus Cincinnati on August 28th.